This car been sitting here 20 years?
Since the day he was gone.
Then I guess the truck stopped when your world did too.
Was it his favorite?
No, it was just the one thing he never needed a reason to love.
Some old trucks don't rust because they were forgotten. They rust because someone loved them too much to let them go. The 1960 Chevy C10 had been sitting beside the barn for 20 years, its faded paint dull under layers of dust, its bed full of leaves, and its tires nearly swallowed by the ground beneath it. Most people would have looked at it and seen an old farm truck that had simply reached the end of its life, but the woman standing beside it saw something very different. Before anything else, please comment and let me know where you are watching from, because I always want to know how far stories like this can travel. She told me it had belonged to her husband, a quiet man who didn't buy expensive things, didn't talk more than he had to, and never cared about impressing anyone. But he loved that Chevy C10 in a way only certain men love old trucks, with patience, pride, and the kind of loyalty they rarely know how to put into words. It was the truck he drove to the feed store, the truck he used to haul lumber, tools, and groceries, the truck that carried Christmas trees home in the winter and watermelons in the summer. She said if you looked closely enough, most of their life together had passed through that truck at one point or another. Then he got sick, and little by little, the truck stopped moving because he did too. After he passed, she left it exactly where he had parked it, not because she forgot it, but because changing anything about that truck felt like changing the last place where he still seemed close. People told her to sell it, scrap it, or at least clear it away. But to her, that old Chevy still felt like her husband, in a way photographs never could. It still felt like his hands on the steering wheel, his boots on the floorboard, his jacket tossed across the seat after a long day. So it sat there for 20 years, not abandoned, just waiting beside a grief she never learned how to hurry through. When she finally asked if it could be restored, her voice didn't sound excited. It sounded careful, like she was afraid hope might hurt. But once we started brushing away the dust and bringing that old C10 back into the light, it felt less like working on a truck and more like opening a door she had kept closed for a very long time. And when the engine finally turned over and came back to life, she didn't say anything at first. She just stood there with tears in her eyes, one hand pressed against the door, listening like she had waited 20 years to hear that sound again. Then she smiled softly and whispered, "That's him, still stubborn." And in that moment, it didn't feel like we had restored a 1960 Chevy C10. It felt like love had found one more way to sound like home. If the last truck your husband ever drove still felt like a part of him, would you restore it or leave it exactly where he left it? Comment just one word, restore or keep.